In this video, we install a full-size spare onto the back bumper of our 1993 Toyota Land Cruiser. Before we start doing any work, let me tell you why we're installing a spare onto the back of the Land Cruiser. First and foremost, yes, a spare will act as a spare, so if we ever have a flat on a trail, heaven forbid, we will have a spare. But there are so many more reasons we are installing this thing back here other than just having a spare tire. The biggest reason is, as you can see, I have my propane tank mounted to the bumper with a mount that I made. But by putting a spare tire back here, it's going to allow me to mount things directly to the tire to give me more storage options. I can throw a propane tank on the tire, I can throw Molly panels on the tire, and I can put things like Max Track. And the thing that I'm most excited to put on the tire once it goes back here is some sort of trail trash bag. I can't tell you how many times I go out on the trail and we're camping and we're cooking and I have to put trash in like a plastic bag and then haul the trash in the car to some sort of place to dispose of it. And I used to actually have a GX470 with a spare on the rear, and we used the Trasharoo or some sort of spare tire trash bag, and it was a lifesaver. I got to give a big shout out to my wife on this one. For my birthday, which was around Christmas, she reached out to HD Race Wheel, got the exact wheel and the exact spec that I'm running with the exact color combo, ordered it to surprise me, and then went out and got me a spare Toyo Open Country AT3 37 1250 17 tire. Thank you for the greatest birthday present any guy could ever ask for. These are 17 by 9, negative 39 offset, 6 by 139, and then they have a bore size that fit over the axles on an 80 series. I'm not sponsored by HD Race Wheel in any way, shape, or form. I just wanted something a little unique to throw on the rig. As you can tell, the one that's on the rig is a little dirty compared to the brand new one. Oh my god, the shine difference is crazy. But for those of you looking for specs or want to throw this on a rig of your own, really love them, and they fit perfectly on 80 series with fender flares. If you have a narrow body or fender flareless 80, they might stick out a little much, but hey, you can still run them on basically any 80 series. Now I went with Toyo tires on this one because the Open Country AT3 is kind of the all-around, all-terrain, everything tire. I mean, it's in the name. But for living here in Washington, I really wanted a tire that would give me a little bit better on-road characteristics, especially in the wet, and some good snow characteristics. And the thing that makes the AT3 so different to some of the mud terrain tires that you're used to seeing is the tread blocks have a lot of siping in them to help with rain and bite in the snow. They're a little bit smaller than like a mud terrain tire, and there's a lot of grooves and pockets in the tire to bite through snow surfaces. These are not the best mud terrain or rock crawling tires. So if you're building an 80 series and you want to take it rock crawling, I would not recommend these tires. But if you're looking for tires to get you around town that are safe in the wet, that are safe on the road, that are pretty quiet, pretty easy to balance, I went and I bought these. Now, full disclaimer here, I am not sponsored by any tire company. I used to work for Nitto Tire. I did get a little bit of a discount there because I did their marketing, but I don't work there anymore. So myself and my wife paid full pop retail for all the tires and all the products you're seeing on this rig. This is not a sponsored video. I just wanted to give you all the heads up. This way you have a deeper insight into what we're running and why. Enough of that. Let's try to assemble the wheel and tire package, mount the spare tire carrier, and hopefully, I hope I have lug nuts. Oh my gosh, I may have forgot lug nuts. Hopefully mount the spare today. As you can see, I have my propane tank mounted where the spare tire would go, but I've already taken the liberty of relocating the license plate from where it would go normally to the side of the other side of the 4x4 Labs swing out. One day, if I want to add like a basket or a ladder to this side, all I have to do is buy another accessory from 4x4 Labs and I can bolt that up there. It doesn't have to just be a license plate. I made this myself. This is just like a cheapo Flame King propane tank mount, and then I welded 90-degree tabs on it that already had holes, and they lined up perfectly. This has got to come off first, and then we can mount the spare tire to the swing out of the bumper. Looks like we can get it nice and clean here. That is what the spare tire mount looks like on the 4x4 Lab swing out. We're gonna have to make sure that when we put the tire on here, we close the hatch first because it's going to hit. So if you're looking to put this spare tire on the 4x4 Labs, just know that you will basically lose all functionality of the rear hatch unless you constantly open the swing out. So always swing out first, then rear hatch, especially with this on here. But the benefit is also have a nice little mount here that could be used for a flag mount, like if we were going to go to Moab. It could be used for another set of lights. It could be used for a ton of other things. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to either mount the radio antenna on here and run the wire down and then into the rig, or use this for like a whip for like when we're camping or something. I think that's a nice touch. It's not wasted space. They thought of everything. You can adjust how forward or back you want the tire to mount on here. Since we're running a 37-1250, I'm gonna probably guess fully forward is the way to go. However, once I put the wheel and tire on here, I'm gonna adjust these just to make sure it's as close to the body as possible. With this all mounted up, let's see if we can throw the wheel on here just for the heck of it. I mean, it's pretty secure. That's not going to go anywhere. Let's see how it looks with the wheel on it. Make sure this ring doesn't come with it. Before I mount everything up, I just want to make sure everything passes the test fitting portion. Ooh, that's crazy. I happen to have these spare lug nuts sitting in my storage, and we're going to see if they work. I think they're 12 by 1.5, which is, it's standard Toyota fitment, and it came with a key, which I'm really happy that these are the lug nuts on here. Now, I know someone could easily come in here and just like hammer these off, but at least there's a little bit of a deterrent with a key on these lug nuts, which is going to make my life so much easier. Let's see if they fit on there. Oh my gosh, what? I think they work. Let's see here. Dude, yes. They totally fit. That should be fully locked, and it is. Look at that. That is awesome. I love it when I have parts that work. I don't have to run to the store to get lug nuts. Fantastic. Now let's get these off, and then let's get the wheel and tire mounted. To match all the other wheels and tires on the rig, I'm going to be using the Apex Design Rapid Precision Valve on the 5th spare. Now, I know you don't need something so fancy to go on the spare. However, if I do rotate this in, I don't want to have a mismatched valve stem, and I want to be able to use the function of this on this spare when I'm on the trail. So airing down super fast, airing up super fast, metal valve stem, all kinds of stuff. The way this works is this goes through the valve stem hole on the wheel. You have a double locking nut here, and you want to get these between 25 and 35 inch-pounds of torque, and that should be it. So let's throw these in right now, and then we can finally mount the tire onto the wheel. Now that we got the valve stem on, we're going to use the good old-fashioned bucket method to mount this wheel. So what you do is you put the wheel on a bucket like so. Make sure you take off anything that's going to impede the mounting surface. And what the goal here is, you want to take the tire and kind of throw it over the wheel, and you want one side of the tire to slip over the wheel and hit the bead on the back, and you want the other side of the tire to kind of just sit on the upper lip here, because you're going to be smashing that evenly with the bead lock. I'm going to use the yellow dot right here on the tire, and I'm going to line that dot up with the valve stem that I've just mounted. But before I do any of that, I'm going to take good old-fashioned Myers hand soap, and I'm going to run it on the inner bead of the tire to allow it to slip onto the wheel a lot easier. I will not be putting any hand soap on the outer bead. That's just, we want that to be dry so the bead lock locks in place, but we do want some here. All right, we can rotate things around here. Let's get a little bit more. There we go. On the bucket. Line it up, perfect, there we go. That's as balanced as I'm gonna get it today. What you're gonna wanna make sure is you wanna make sure this lip is all the way down and evenly around the wheel. And luckily these Open Country AT3s, super easy to put around the lip of the wheel. I just kind of pushed it in and it gave itself a nice flush mount. So now the next step here is to grab the bead lock ring. You can see how it sits on the tire. It sits on this outer lip of the tire, like so. And then you line this up with the holes in the wheel. And what it does is it pushes the tire against the face, the inner lip of this wheel, pushing on this area right here. So kind of just sandwiching it down, and then it creates an airtight seal. So let's get this on here. And bingo. And now that that's on, let's get some of the hardware in just to see if they all line up. Last time I mounted these, I was short some hardware. So we're just going to take a handful and see if we can line up some of the holes right now, and then we'll deal with if I'm short later. Alright, now here comes the moment of truth. We're all torqued down to around 16 to 17 foot-pounds each one. And let's see if she can safely inflate. I don't think it's dangerous, but the pop always scares me. So let's see what happens here. I'm going to get a legitimate tire gauge, so I'm not just shooting in the dark here. Don't want to hurt myself. Okay. All right, now we have a sense of how much we're actually putting in. So far, 0. That's it. It's holding air. Perfect, 35 on the dot. And the beauty of the Apex designs is the valve stem locks down the rapid release valve. All right, we're at 35 psi. Let's lock everything up in the rig for now. I mean, I'll have to reorganize all this, as you can see. All right, let's see how she looks. And just so it doesn't swing, I'm gonna put this like so. And I'll put these in my pocket once I put the wheel on there. I think I could probably move this back a bit. I feel like it's really far forward. Okay, nice and solid on there. Now we can get it on. Here we go. Oh, wow. It's heavy. It's slippery from the soap. That's hard to do. Okay. Let's see if we can get it. Oh, much better. Okay. All right. Ooh. All right. Oh my God, that was hard. All right, let's see here. Now the big question is, with all my tools still out, how bad is the blind spot inside? So let's figure that out together. I hope it's not too bad. Hi, it's me. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, I have the super wide mirror, and looking in the mirror, I can't see, like if there's a small car behind me, I won't be able to see that. Look over my rearview mirror, can't really see anything. So, okay. That's just how it's gonna be. Kind of stoked. As you saw sitting in the car, the blind spot wasn't too bad, but there is a blind spot, so something to be aware of. But for enough of my face, here's how it looks on the rig. And I gotta say, beyond stoked. Look at that. I love how the 4x4 Labs spare tire mount is adjustable. And I could move that mount back further, but I think this is a nice amount of distance from that little tab to the rig. It's not too close in case it flexes, or heaven forbid this thing pops open. But overall, the rig looks so good. Oh my God. I also really love how when we swing it open, let's see if we can get it here. That's open. And then this guy, I can do it one-handed, by the way. I love how when we swing it open, let's say I'm gonna go here, and start cooking. I'm going to hook my line from here directly to my propane tank, which would sit probably on this side or on this side. I'm not sure, but I have the line here, and that way I can just keep a really big thing of propane on there, and I don't have to worry about anything. I can also throw a trasharoo on here. I'm not going to throw it on in this video because I don't want to cover up the wheel, but now when I go camping, I at least have a place to put my trash. Super stoked. So let's put this bad boy away here. Full-size spare in the rear. The only thing I worry about is the amount of sag I'm going to get in the rear for the driver. I might have to throw like a 30 or 10 mil spacer on the rear spring there, just to add some preload to make sure it doesn't sag too much, because I can already see, like if I'm sitting in the car and then that side might sag a little bit, but man, can't believe how it looks. It almost looks like a toy. All right, that's going to be it for this video. We got the full-size spare installed on the Land Cruiser, and it unlocks a whole new system of storage, of trash, of propane, of all kinds of stuff for this rig for trips. Like I said, this is totally an overland family build. This is not a rock crawler build, so there's going to be a lot of stuff on here that if you're building a rock crawling 80, you probably wouldn't use. But if you're overlanding with a family like me, wife, 3 dogs, etc., you got to have a lot of things with you. But other than that, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And the only thing that's left is to wash this and take some photos. We'll see you guys on the next one.